Brophytes introduction. Non-vascular, non-flowering, seedless plant in which gametophyte is dominant generation, plant body, and sporophyte is attached to gametophyte and completely or partially dependent on it for nutrition. Their plant body is simple flat thallus, still in the process of development and resembling to some of thallophytes in vegetative structure but showing advancement in the method of reproduction. They are simplest and primitive plants found on Earth. Their sperms, male gametes, are flagellated and often require water to swim towards egg female gamete. As water is required for the act of fertilization, therefore, they are known as amphibians of kingdom Plantae. General characters. They are found in humid and shady places. They are abundant in moist mountain forest of tropical and subtropical regions. They range from few millimeters to 30 centimeter in size or more. They exhibit heteromorphic alternation of generation. The gametophyte is main plant body and nutritionally independent while sporophyte is completely or partially dependent on it. The gametophyte body is either thalloid or differentiated into erect axis stem and lateral appendages leaves. Roots are absent and rhizoids perform the function of roots. The sporophyte is commonly known as sporogonium and usually differentiated into foot, seta and capsule. Unlike most of other plants, these are not found as single individuals but they are found as group of individuals. They never form vascular tissues. Vegetative reproduction takes place either by fragmentation or gamete. It may also take place by tubers or adventitious branches. Sexual reproduction is only of oogamous type. Sex organs are multicellular and protected by a jacket of sterile cells. These all are homosporous, therefore, seed is not formed in them. Classification. The division Bryophyta has three classes named as Hepatocopsida that includes liverworts such as Richia and Marchantia. Anthoceropsida that includes hornworts such as Anthoceros. Bryopsida that includes mosses such as Funaria and Polytrichum. Affinities of bryophytes. There are no pet fossil records of bryophytes. Therefore, the origin of bryophytes can be traced only through comparative studies including morphology, anatomy, genetics, etc. There is a universal belief that bryophytes arose from green algae, probably from Chlorophyta. However, some botanists describe that bryophytes have descended from pteridophytes. Therefore, there are two views or theories regarding the evolution of bryophytes. A. Algal origin. B. Pteridophytic origin. A. Algal origin. Affinities with algae. O. Similarities. Following similarities between both the groups show the origin of bryophytes from Chlorophyta. The simple, green, thalloid plant body, lack of vascular tissues, absence of roots, starch as reserve food, cellulosic cell wall, gametophyte as dominant plant body, autotrophic mode of nutrition, similar photosynthetic pigments, requirement of water for the act of fertilization, biflagellated or motile sperms, antherozoids. Differences. Bryophytes differ from green algae in following aspects. Terrestrial habit, multicellular sex organs protected by a layer of sterile cells, embryo formation, heteromorphic alternation of generation, development of remarkable female sex organ, archegonium, attachment of sporophyte with gametophyte throughout life. Pteridophytic origin, affinities with pteridophytes. O. Similarities. Following similarities between both the groups show the origin of bryophytes from pteridophytes, embryo formation, terrestrial habit, multicellular sex organs protected by a layer of sterile cells, heteromorphic alternation of generation, presence of rhizoids, cotyledon and some extinct members, similar photosynthetic pigment structure and composition of cell wall, starch as reserve food. No seed formation, flagellated or motile sperms, antherozoids, close resemblance between the sporophyte of Anthoceros and Horneophyton. O. Differences. Bryophytes differ from pteridophytes in following aspects: absence of vascular tissues, gametophyte as dominant plant body. Conclusion. O. According to algal origin, bryophytes evolved from Chlorophyta through progressive changes and modifications, and the probable descendant is Richia, and all other complex forms are formed from this simple bryophyte through complication. O. According to pteridophytic origin, bryophytes evolved from pteridophytes through regressive changes and modifications, and the probable descendant is Anthoceros, and all other simple forms are formed from this complex bryophyte through simplification. The algal origin is more comprehensive and valid and accepted widely in biological world. General characters of classes of bryophytes. Class Hepatocopsida. Members of this class are commonly known as liverworts. Their thallus is green, flat, dorsiventral and dichotomously branched. Internally, the thallus is differentiated into storage region, ventral, and photosynthetic or assimilatory region, dorsal. The dorsal surface is characterized by the presence of many polygonal areas with an air pore in the center. The thallus is attached to substratum by smooth or tuberculate rhizoids. In addition to rhizoids, multicellular scales are also present on the lower side of thallus. Their sporophyte is simplest and most primitive among bryophytes and completely dependent on gametophyte. Sporophyte lacks both foot and seta and consists only of capsule. Species of this class may be homothoric or heterothoric. The spores are dispersed into winds by the twisting motion of numerous intermixed sterile cells, elaters. Class Anthoceropsida. Members of this class are commonly known as hornworts. Thallus is dark brown, prostrate, flat, dorsiventral and dichotomously lobed. Internally, the thallus is not differentiated into storage and photosynthetic region but has a uniform cellular organization. The thallus is attached to substratum by smooth rhizoids. Tuberculate rhizoids and scales are absent. Their sporophyte is complex and most advanced among bryophytes and partially dependent on gametophyte. Sporophyte consists of foot, seta and capsule. Species of this class may be homothoric or heterothoric. The spores are dispersed into winds by the twisting motion of numerous intermixed sterile cells called elaters, pseudoelaters. Members of this class make symbiotic association with blue-green algae, primarily nostoc. The chloroplasts also contain pyrenoids, chief character of Anthoceropsida, not found in other plants. Class Bryopsida. Members of this class are commonly known as mosses. Their body is characteristically divided into stem and leaves. The stem may be erect or prostrate, and leaves are either small green outgrowths or may be flat or expanded. Internally, the stem exhibits tissue differentiation but no vascular tissues are developed. Sporophyte consists of foot, seta and capsule. The seta is elongated. Species of this class mostly homothoric but fewer heterothoric. The spores give rise to a filamentous structure called protonema on germination. Numerous shoots arise from it which composes the mature plant gametophyte. Elaters are absent. Ecological importance of bryophytes. Bryophytes are of great ecological importance due to following reasons. Shocked face pioneer of the land plants. Bryophytes are pioneer of the land plants because they are the first plants to grow and colonize the barren rocks and lands. Prevent soil erosion. Bryophytes prevent soil erosion. They usually grow densely and hence act as soil binders. Mosses grow in dense strands forming mat or carpet-like structure. They prevent soil erosion by bearing the impact of falling raindrops, holding much of the falling water and reducing the amount of runoff water. Formation of soil. Mosses and lichens are slow but efficient soil formers. The acid secreted by the lichens and progressive death and decay of mosses help in the formation of soil. Bog succession. Peat mosses change the banks of lakes or shallow bodies of water into solid soil which supports vegetation, e.g., sphagnum. Rock builders. Some mosses in association with some green algae, e.g., chara, grow in water of streams and lakes which contain large amount of calcium bicarbonate. These mosses bring about decomposition of bicarbonic ions by abstracting free CO2. The insoluble calcium carbonate precipitates and on exposure hardens, forming calcareous lime, rock-like deposits. Formation of peat. Peat is a brown or dark color substance formed by the gradual compression and carbonization of the partially decomposed pieces of dead vegetative matter in the bogs. Sphagnum is an aquatic moss. While growing in water, it secretes certain acids in the water body. This acid makes conditions unfavorable for the growth of decomposing organisms like bacteria and fungi. That is why sphagnum is called peat moss.